Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Monday, January the 31st, and welcome to our video commentary. Maybe you're following this controversy with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is a fellow who has a podcast. He reaches millions of people. I think he's the number one podcast in the world, actually. The guy is incredibly successful. Compared to me, he's a million times bigger than what I do, and most people actually. He's just huge, reaches millions of people. And Mr. Rogan has one of those shows where he likes to invite a lot of people and likes to talk about a lot of different things. And apparently, he had a show recently about COVID, and some people got mad and they want to cancel him for what he said about COVID. And his one of the critics is this fellow Neil Young, who, for those of us who remember the 1970s, Neil Young used to be on Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. He was a rocker back then, and he decided to pull his music from the same place that Joe Rogan's podcast was in. Then other people came in, wanted to do the same thing, and it became kind of another example of the cancel culture, where people, instead of disagreeing or talking about their differences, the first thing they want to do is pull the plug and cancel you. And I think that is highly destructive and bad for our country. Look, people can disagree, but the idea that I'm going to simply pull the plug or cancel somebody that I disagree with is pretty stupid. So my suggestion to you and anybody else is, what you need to do is, if you don't like a show, if you don't like a podcast, if you don't like a television network or whatever, don't watch it. Simply turn it off. I mean, you do have this little machine here, the remote, where you can turn it off and you don't have to watch it. Or if you have a disagreement with someone who has a particular point of view, then try to have a debate. Try to have and say, look, I challenge you on what you're saying. Let's have a debate about it. But the idea that we're going to cancel anybody that we disagree with, it's just one of the craziest things going on in the country today. And I think we're stifling free speech, which is a very important part of a healthy country. And we're imposing this viewpoint and another viewpoint. And it's horrible in the universities, by the way. The universities are some of the worst places for this repression of free speech that we're seeing in the country. But my viewpoint is, if you disagree with me, or if I don't like what you're saying, I'll just turn it off and watch something else. But I don't think it's a good idea to be canceling people just because you disagree with them. I don't see the logic of that. The other problem with COVID is that so many different things have been said about COVID, the vaccines and this and this and this and that. I mean, that over time, over the last couple of years, a lot of different things have been said about COVID. And some have turned out to be true, other have turned out to be false. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about them. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have open debate about these things. So my suggestion to everybody is, stop canceling and start talking to each other. Let's talk to each other. If we have a disagreement, let's talk about it. I think we can respectfully disagree and talk about our differences without me canceling you or you canceling me. I think that's the best way to do this. And that way we can have a healthy society with a lot of speech, a conversation between people. And that's really the healthiest way to deal with a problem, when people can communicate about it and talk about it. Thank you for watching. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.